My name is Maria Kądzielska and welcome to Poland Daily Culture. If you haven't heard the story of Polish El Greco, you have to watch this interview. Here with us is Katarzyna Kowalska, a screenwriter and the director of the movie Polish El Greco. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation.
This story is so fascinating and amazing that I would say, like, why we don't shout about it on the streets, because it's truly it's a surprise, I would say. It was a surprise for them, but the people who discovered the painting, but it is also the surprise for everyone who watches the movie. Tell me, please, how did you learn about it?
Actually, my first reaction when I heard about the story the first time was the same. I was really surprised that I haven't heard about it earlier. So that was the first thing after that I have to do something with it, like reportage, like something much longer that I could do at the moment I've heard the first time about this story.
Just to pass to the bigger audience, as I understand. And that's how the idea about the book or the movie came to you?
No, first was the material for the Polish television, because I used to work as a journalist in Polish public television, so I decided to make a material about it. It was in 2016 when the painting Ecstasy of St. Francis was transported to Krakow for conservation. And after that, I heard the whole story about this picture. It was really amazing, because I didn't know that some of the people who discovered this painting, who were involved in that story, there is a possibility to talk to them, because the story began in 1964. So it is long time ago. Nearly 6 years ago. But someone gave me the telephone number to Iza Galicka, and I tried to call her. She picked up the phone and asked me if I want to come for an interview to her. Of course I wanted. I made a very short interview with her for that moment. And then, but what was the great surprise for me, that Iza, elderly woman after 80, was really prepared for that interview. She had all articles from 1960s, from the newspapers, all documents, and she was like ready.
So she was waiting for someone to discover the story. Yes, she was like
waiting. Yes, and we started to talk, and I couldn't believe that nobody tried to make a long story, like a reportage, like a book about that story. So I decided to do that. And she agreed for this.
She agreed. So she was let's tell a little bit who was Ms. Galicka in all this project.
In all this project was also Hanna Sygietynska. Iza and Hania was a tandem who traveled across the Mazovia and Podlasie and made a research about Polish monuments, all the historical objects that are in churches, in old palaces, in the old houses of aristocrats.
And it was in the 60s, the previous century, so the 1960s something. Yes. So in the middle of PRL, basically.
Yes, and after that they came to Kosów-Lacki. It was sleepy village in Podlasie, in historical Podlasie. And after doing their research in neo-Gothic church, they came to the priest and wanted to give back the keys to the church and started to talk to him. And after that, someone realized that there was a painting in the private flat of priest. They asked, there is a private painting, or there is a painting that belongs to church? And the priest was very surprised with that question and answered very quickly that there is a painting of a church. That's why they could make a deeper research about this painting and write about it in catalog, because they traveled around Mazovia and Podlasie as art researchers from Polish Institute of Art, and that was their actually job to get as much information as they could about monuments and write down them in this catalog of monuments.
And then they entered the apartment of a priest, and there was hanging on a wall a beautiful painting of St. Francis.
Yes, but actually this painting wasn't so beautiful at the beginning when they saw it for the first time. It was really dark. It was dusty. It had a hole in a canvas. So they thought that it could be something very interesting. It could be something very important, that they didn't have idea that that this picture could be painted by such a huge painter as El Greco, for example. So they started to watch this painting from other sides, and they saw the signature of Honthorst, but they knew that it could be not the Honthorst painting. So they asked the photographer who was with them, Vitalis Wolny, to take a photo. And when they came back to Warsaw, they showed that photo to other professors. And one professor, Marek Walicki, watching this photo, asked, "Is that El Greco?" And that was the moment when they started to believe that it could be something really, really, really huge.
And what happened later, you will learn in the next episode. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.